Ladies and gentlemen, I really have to apologize. The last live stream was interrupted because of my dolls. I have several dolls. As you well know, I use my dolls for props on stage and off as a stand-up and or sit-down comic. And what had happened is up here on my shelf up here, I'll show it to you. Up here on my shelf is where I keep a flashlight. This is my Milwaukee flashlight. It's an M18 Milwaukee flashlight. Very good flashlight. Actually, it has become my favorite new flashlight. The Milwaukee flashlight is my favorite new, not because it's Milwaukee, but because it's very powerful. Very powerful. If I go like this and I will not even face it at the camera, you'll see how powerful it is. It from 30 feet away, it illuminates a 30-foot section of wall in total darkness. But that flashlight was next to this piece of garbage, another piece of garbage that they sell here in the Philippines. This one here is an Omni, because it's an Omni piece of garbage, OMNI. This is legitimately a piece of garbage. You pay 800 pesos for this, $16. Now they're 1,000. And none of them, this is the third one, none of them have lasted a year and a half. And what happens is there's a circuit board in here. Something either dies on the circuit board, which is fixable for about 200 pesos. So that's one problem. But the main problem here is the battery. The battery that they put into this piece of garbage is garbage. So they put garbage with garbage, and that's where garbage belongs, with the garbage. But the battery only lasts about a year and a half. I have the same problem with the other two. So this is the third one, and the battery finally gave way. You can charge it, and the charge will last a few minutes. But anyway, I had it up on my shelf to do a live stream about these products called Omni. They're garbage. They're just basically garbage. And what I want to tell you is, don't buy an Omni. Buy something else. I don't know. But now that I have the Milwaukee flashlight and a Napa Auto flashlight, a really high quality Napa flashlight I don't need. But anyway, I had that up on the shelf to do the video about it, and I did. And now you can buy another battery for the flashlight. Thank you for coming back, Scott. Thank you very much. You can buy another battery if you can find a battery store that has that battery. I don't know what the batteries are now, but I did buy a battery similar to this battery, but not this battery, for 450 pesos, or about $9. So for 450 pesos, I only paid $16 for the unit new. And now if you paid, let's say, 450 pesos, that's $9. You're putting a new battery in an old flashlight, which guarantee the circuit board is going to break anyway. So then you're going to pay 200 pesos to fix the circuit board. It's something in the circuit board. It's the same problem that occurred to the first one, occurred to the second one. And at that point, I gave it to the repairman. I just said, do you want this? He said, no. So I threw it out. This is the third one. So thanks for coming back. Bad, Mr. Obama crashed the stream like he crashed the U.S. economy. He did do that. So what I was about to do is, for Marvelous Mark, King of the Dark, I was going and reaching for Digger. Digger is one of my dolls that I play with on a regular basis. Real men are not afraid to say they play with dolls. And the definition of a real man encompasses so many things. But let me assure you that there have been millions of instances in real life that real men use dolls to portray a concept, a thought process, a new idea, a creation. Walt Disney, so many artists use dolls on their stage, or they use puppets or marionettes. So I don't want to hear this crap that real men don't play with dolls. When I got that video, I'm going, who is sending me this crap? And I watched it, and it's like, why are you sending me this crap? The guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Real men do what real men want to do, and they don't worry about what other men think. It would be like, let's just say, to use as an example, but it's so hard. Everybody takes sound bites from what you say. But to use this as an example, if you were going to have a real doll, right? It said real men. Real men don't play with dolls. Let's use that as the example. But all my life, I did real men stuff. All my life, I did stuff that required me risking my life on a daily basis. All my life, every job I ever did, every roof I climbed, every time I climbed a ladder. You're going to say that I'm not a real man? That's what real men do. They go out and risk all to do what's necessary to make a living. Now, other real men, they might start corporations. That's a different way, but they also are risking all. They're risking all their money on their belief in themselves that they have what it takes to get a business off the ground. When I bought my first crane, I didn't buy a crane. Well, I bought a crane because I always wanted a crane. I mean, everybody wants a crane, right? Everybody wants a crane. I don't know any real men that didn't say when they grew up, oh, I wish I had a crane. Everybody, all real men want cranes. This is the fact. Everybody knows this. Like the guy on Ocean's 11 said. Everybody knows this. Every real man growing up playing with Tonka toys wants to own a dump truck, a crane, a cement mixer. So if I was to say that I'm a real man and I play with dolls, but I proved my entire life that I have been a real man, and someone comes on YouTube and says you're not a real man, does that make it true? No, it doesn't make it true. What it does is it shows a lack of understanding of what a real man is, shows a lack of respect to myself for sure, and it shows a jealous person. Because if you've watched and followed my videos for 10 years, all the stuff I say I bought and owned, I did. And that's what real men do. They prove in not words, but actions. So when I hear somebody on YouTube going, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and that guy's this and that guy's that, well, then I have to say, the guy has quite the imagination. That's all I could say. But Digger was what I don't mean to disrespect you, Mr. Obama. Lord knows if anybody deserves to be help me dig a hole in the backyard, it's you, because you have destroyed America. You dug a hole for America so deep and set the precedence for so much corruption in the American government. Believe me, you have buried America into a pile of dog doo-doo. Now, Digger, on the other hand, he's a real man doll that lives and works on the bottom of the flat earth, because the earth is flat. Fluid dynamics proves this time and time again. There is no such thing as an undisturbed fluid. No wind, no tidal currents, no moon interference from the moon, which is highly unlikely that the moon moves the ocean currents. Even though the moon works in conjunction with the ocean currents, I have a little bit of trouble believing that, because if the moon affects the ocean, why doesn't it affect a freshwater lake at all? Same thing, just a different kind of water. Oh, you say it's got salt in it? Okay, so then why would some of the salt lakes that are not connected to the ocean, why is there no tidal change? And even if you people want to believe that the Earth is a spinning ball moving through space, which it's not. So if the Earth, as they say, shifts its axis from that makes winter and summer, if it did do that, wouldn't the oceans come out of their place where they exist? I mean, if there's an ocean and the Earth is spinning around at 1,068 miles an hour, and you spin the Earth just a few degrees, wouldn't the oceans? Hasn't the theory always been, if the Earth just was thrown off its axis a quarter of a degree, the oceans would fall out of place? That's always been the theory behind the spinning ball Earth, that it stays perfectly up. But now they're telling you that the Earth rotates and changes its axis, which changes the angle of the sun. It's all bullshit. So, but anyway, why doesn't the moon affect the Great Lakes in any way, shape, or form, or any saltwater body? It's because the moon is probably not real either. We know this. All intelligent men. But let's move on past that. I don't want to give you too much information. If you were to look up, do we have pictures of astronauts on the moon? I dare you to find one real one. They don't exist. If you were to look up to find an actual picture of Earth from any space shuttle, space launch, space telescope, since NASA started taking 2 or 3, 10, 12, $15 billion a year from the American taxpayer, for all of those billions of dollars, they don't even have one single picture of the ball Earth. There's no way to prove the Earth is round. When the space shuttle took off past my house in the Key Largo, why is the space shuttle 650 miles from Cape Canaveral? Why is the space shuttle traveling horizontal 650 miles away from its launch? Because it wasn't going to space anyway. It was going to someplace out in the ocean where they'd pick up the pieces. Why was it traveling 650 miles? A rocket is 100% full on power when they kick the rocket engine in. Seconds after the rocket engines kick in, it's at maximum speed of 17,500 miles per hour. Why? It doesn't take 7 minutes to get from Kennedy Space Center to my house, and then past my house horizontally. And their answer was, oh, it's going to go through the atmosphere over there somewhere, over there. Why didn't it just go through the atmosphere straight up? Well, they had to get the Earth in the proper rotation. That's bullshit. Why didn't they just wait a few minutes till the Earth was in the proper rotation? And why is it different over there than over there? I remember being over there and over there when I was in the Albemarle Sound. Albemarle Sound in Virginia. Albemarle, I forgot. I have the map up here. Hold on. I had the map up here. I don't have the map up here anymore. Albemarle Sound. But I didn't know where I was actually in Chesapeake Bay. I was in a fog. I had to put the anchor down. I didn't know if land was over there or land was over there or land was over there, and I didn't want to travel over there or over there without knowing where land was. because my GPS got destroyed in a storm. And I had no GPS. And a compass would have worked, but there was no compass because I had GPS. I had this little compass about this big. My real compass, I don't know what happened to my real compass. It was on the barge when I left New York and have no idea where it went. I was in a torrential downpour, December 13th of 1998, and with 75-mile-an-hour winds and 17-foot seas. If I had to guess where my compass is, I would say it's at the bottom of the ocean near the bridge tunnel. Anyway, John Escape is in the house. Real men do play with dolls. Not so real men will criticize real men for playing with dolls because they can. And because they've never said that to a real man in real life. Otherwise, they would probably get a history lesson on the proper etiquette of addressing real men in real life. That would be something that real men don't mess with other real men's minds. They just don't do that. But real men do play with dolls, and here's proof. So when I was reaching for Digger to give a shout out to Marvelous Mark, the King of the Dark, for a super chat in my last live stream, I knocked the light down while I was getting Digger, because Digger he has anti-gravity boots on, and what those anti-gravity boots do is they allow Digger to walk. They allow Digger to walk upside down on the bottom of the flat earth. So let's make Digger ring the bell upside down. Make believe he's on the bottom of the flat earth, and we're going to bang a pot for Marvelous Mark, the King of the Dark, for a major contribution of super chat to my channel. I thank you. Digger, you want to say hello? Hello. Digger loves everybody. And when I'm done with this show today, I'm going to put Digger in a plastic bag, if I have time, and I'm going to bury Digger. And I'm going to put a rope on Digger's feet. Well, I don't need to put a rope on Digger's feet. Lo and behold, look at this. We have a chain. Digger is already properly set up to be buried in the backyard and then unburied. Because Digger, see, what happens is, the reason that Digger has a chain on him, I'll give Marvel. Let me tell you about Digger. Okay. Digger works on the bottom of the flat earth, and he works upside down. Now, why do we have a chain on Digger? Well, what happens is, when you let Digger loose, if, let's say, I don't have Digger on the shelf, he's put in neutral on that shelf. That's the neutral shelf that Digger sits on. If I just put Digger on the floor here, Digger will disappear. And a few minutes later, as soon as he finds dirt, he starts digging. Digger is a digger. That's why I named him Digger. And if you say the word Digger, it also sounds good. Digger. Digger 2. Now, Digger 1, this is Digger 1. Digger 1, Digger 2. 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 This is Digger 1. He dug a hole for America. And this is Digger 2. He digs holes in the backyard. So what had happened is, I let Digger loose, and he dug a hole. And he'll dig a hole anywhere he goes. So when he digs the hole on the top of the bottom of the flat earth, gravity, which doesn't really exist, holds him in the upside down position. And the gravity from Digger digging the hole, now you got to understand the way things work. When gravity is pulling Digger down and Digger is digging, when Digger digs the hole, he's got to throw the dirt upwards over his feet. Upwards. Digger has to throw the dirt up. This is how things work on the top of the bottom of the flat earth. which is different than the bottom of the flat earth, or the top of the bottom of the flat earth. So when Digger is digging, he's digging, and then it gets to the point where he can't throw the dirt up past his feet. And the dirt starts coming back down on Digger, and the dirt starts locking up Digger's arms. That's what gravity does on the top of the bottom of the flat earth. So the reason that the chain is on Digger is so that when the dirt does jam up his arms and the spoon, which is really his digging utensil, I can pull Digger back out of the hole. Let me show you. All right, Digger's digging, right? Now Digger is digging. He's digging. Well, let me make sure you. He's digging. Digger. That's right, John. And now he's down to where the dirt is locking him up solid, right? So what Digger does at that point is he puts his lights on his feet, and he yells out, "Oh, Papa Fazio, Papa Fazio, Papa Fazio, help me!" Look, those are his emergency anti-gravity boots. Get me out of this hole. At which point, I take the chain and I pull Digger out of the hole. Watch, Digger up, Digger up, Digger up. Digger up, Digger up, Digger up. Digger up, Digger up. So now Digger's out of the hole. Now I just made up that whole routine right there. Digger up, Digger down, gravity. I did all of that right off the top of my head. But John does have a valid point. The blood is rushing to Digger's head. That also slows down his ability to throw dirt up. Now, Digger, let me bang the pot for Marvelous Mark, King of the Dark. He hit me hard with a super chat on my last live. Marvelous Mark, the King of the Dark, he hits me up with super chat. Marvelous Mark, the King of the Dark, he says he's one of the super chat scats. Yeah, baby. That didn't come out the way I wanted it, Marvelous Mark. I apologize. Let me try that again. Marvelous Mark, the King of the Dark, he hit me up with a major amount of super chat. Marvelous Mark, we thank you much for the super chat. And that super chat is going towards my new auto grab, my boom crane, my $23,000 cement mixer. Salamat, Marvelous Mark, King of the Dark. So anyway, Digger, we were going for Digger, and the flashlight fell on the computer and stopped the live stream. But now let me show you. The difference is on the top of the bottom of the flat earth, when Digger's digging, I told you, the dirt accumulates here and locks Digger up, right? He locks him up. But because he has to throw the dirt up, and the dirt falls down due to the thing that we call gravity, which is really viscosity. It has more to do with density than gravity. But now on the bottom of the flat earth, though, on the bottom of the flat earth, when Digger is digging, now he's on the bottom of the flat earth right now, right? When Digger is digging on the bottom of the top of the bottom of the flat earth, he's digging now. He's digging, and he's digging. He's digging the hole on the bottom of the flat earth. So here's the flat earth, and here's the bottom of the flat earth. So Digger actually would be inverted. Now he can walk on the bottom of the flat earth with his anti-gravity boots. But when he wants to dig into the bottom of the flat earth, he turns his little self over, and he starts digging up to the top of the bottom of the flat earth. Now, because of this thing we call density, which you call gravity, the dirt falls out of the hole past Digger's feet. So he can dig up as far as he wants, and the dirt falls out of the hole. But when he's on the top of the bottom of the flat earth and he digs down, that's why we have a chain on Digger. Not because he was a bad digger or a good digger. There's no such thing as a bad digger or a good digger. Digger is a digger. Digger 1, digger 2. Digger 1, digger 2. They're all good diggers. Everybody knows this. Now, let me go to the comment section. Dennis Adams says, he who has the most toys in the end wins. That's right, baby. So I will tell Dennis that, hello, Patrick. I will tell Dennis that the cement mixer at $23,000 plus a few thousand for shipping will be the least expensive toy I have ever bought new. The computer is not so much of a toy. It's going to be actually a tool that I won't be able to do much with. I'll be able to render my videos that are 1 to 2 to 3 hours long, put 4 hours of video in the computer and render them, but it's not something I could walk around. Look at this. Look at my computer. My computer is going to look like everybody else's computer, except my computer will do things that you need more power, more RAM, more storage space in the computer. But the machine, the cement mixer, that's going to make a series of videos that are just going to rock people's world. There'll be viral videos, every one of them, because I will be operating the machine, and maybe I'll even make a costume. I'll make a little digger costume, like a pink costume like this, and a spoon. I'll put a spoon, like a big spoon, like a ladle or something on the side of the machine, and I will be digging, because I'll be digging the bank material into the hopper. I will be famous. That's right. So the guy who ends, he who dies with the most toys wins. He who has never had a toy has never had any joy. Like when we are flying airplanes. I would imagine that guy never flew an airplane. Most of you never flew an airplane. That's understandable. But pay attention. If for some reason the pilot in the left seat says, no joy, no joy, get ready to do a restart while you're looking for a place to land. Or try to figure out how to land without the operational apparatus that you need to land. No joy means mayday, mayday. But only real men would know that. I want a front end loader, F650 super truck, and a 64 Ford Galaxy. You know, I could tell you where there were a whole entire yard of Ford Falcons. I don't know if they were Galaxies. This guy, Ronnie Carl, guy I grew up with, he had a whole property full of Ford cars. He was an expert Ford mechanic. Now, I remember the Galaxies, those were huge cars later on. The Galaxy 500, I remember. And if you've ever driven in one, or if you know one, the Galaxy 500 in 1972 or 73, my friend Freddie Estro, he had a Galaxy 500. I think it was like a 71. It's a huge car. He would put 6 or 7 of us in the car. And we would go from Howard Beach. We'd get on the Bell Parkway. This was a Sunday morning drive. 2 or 3 of us would do this. As the older guys stopped doing it, the younger guys with the cars would do it. And we would take 3, 4, 5 guys, put them in the car, and we would drive down the Bell Parkway, under the Verrazano Bridge, onto the BQE. From the BQE, we would go to the Long Island Expressway. I think that was the next stop. From the Long Island Expressway, we would go to the Brooklyn-Queens Expressway. From the BQE, we would go to the Union Turnpike. And from the Union Turnpike, we'd go to Woodhaven Boulevard and then go back down to Howard Beach. So that trip took about an hour and 20 minutes. And we did that in a Galaxy 500 just about every Sunday, because Freddie had nothing but money. He owned a donut shop, actually. His dad owned a donut shop. But in that Galaxy 500, Scott, if you've ever been in one or you ever go in one, there's a round disc on the steering wheel about this big, and it says Galaxy, and it's got like a glass thing on there. That comes off. That's one of them big old steering wheels. That comes off, and inside there you could almost fit an entire beer can, which is a good place to store your driver's license or an extra set of keys. But I know that car well, and that's where we would, when we went to the beach, we would all throw our wallets in there or our money inside that little stash in the Galaxy 500. I think it was in 1971, but it was like a little round disc about that big, and you could just pop it off with spring tensioners, throw all your money and your goods in there, and you'd be good to go. That's what Scott wants for Christmas. Bad, Mr. Obama. Hello, John Escape. The gang is all here. Thank you very much for showing up, guys. I didn't have much to do, and I went to bed last night at 7 o'clock, so I did a live stream this morning for 2 hours. Typically, I never did that before. I actually had quite a bunch of people on there, and then I was going to go do something else, but it looked like it was going to rain, so I went back to sleep for an hour, and now I'm all spunky again, but I do need water. Let's see, John Escape, hello all. Hello, Mike, says John Escape. Scott Del Fuego, John Escape. A real man has entered the streamsphere. Streamsphere, I like the way that sounds. John Escape in the streamosphere. John Escape, the master of the thoroughbred racehorse breeding. John, you want to give us your exact name, not the name of your business, but exactly what you would be called in the horse training or breeding business? Because I never asked you that. Can you give us, like, what would be your designation besides from hauling the horses from one racetrack to another, which John does, goes and permits everything, and then he takes responsibility and insurances to move race horses from one track to another. What would be your exact definition? Digger and the Obama, they have destructive pair. They digger. Now, the one thing that Digger doesn't need, he doesn't need diapers. See this diaper here? This diaper is not for Digger. But Digger comes with this diaper when you buy the Baby Alive doll set, because basically he's a baby digger, a little digger, little digger, little digger, little digger, little digger, little digger, little digger. Don't say that too fast; you're going to get in trouble. So Digger has a diaper in case he needs a diaper, but my Digger don't need a diaper. 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 Digger don't need. But these diapers are for others. These are others' diapers. They're not. And who are the others that Digger diapers are for? It depends. No pun intended. So Digger has a diaper in case you run across somebody that has said something horrendous or bold or lies, and then you catch them in a lie or horrendous statement or bold-faced lie, and then you embarrass them in front of their friends or family or neighbors. If you do that and they start crying, then Digger comes to the rescue. He's a rescue digger. Rescue digger, rescue digger, rescue digger, rescue digger, rescue digger, rescue digger, 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 the rescue digger, 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 digger diapers, digger diapers, digger diapers. Digger is a rescue digger. Like a rescue dog, but a rescue digger. A rescue dog would carry rum. That's the old adage, or a first aid kit. Well, Digger, he carries diapers for those people that have made a mistake and break down crying in public places. digger comes to the rescue. He gives them a little face diaper. This diaper could be used as a face diaper. This diaper here, this is a full-on diaper for solids. These are wraparounds. These depends on how much crying and how much spattering and scatting is happening. But these diapers, it's not really a diaper. Let me show you what it is, because I'm going to be selling these come the first of the year. I'm going to be selling these diapers by the square inch. So basically, this is just an absorbent pad that I cut and make like a gauze pad out of. Because gauze pads here are now 8 pesos for a 4x4 pad. And these are 25 pesos, and you could make 50 pieces 4x4 out of this. But this is not a full piece. This is a half of a piece. So if I could make 50 pieces out of this, it cost me about a half a peso to make a 4x4 square. Half a peso or 8 pesos is a big difference. So this is what I use for bandages. And it's sterile. As soon as you sit on a work table in the hospital, they put one of these right underneath you. So it's got to be sterile. So if it's sterile enough to put you on in a hospital room, it's sterile enough to use as a bandage. Now, those of you who disagree, I don't think anybody with a degree in doctoring, medicine, an MD would disagree. But if you do disagree, of course, your medical training says otherwise. But the fact is that I have used something similar to that for 35 or 40 years. And I have never had an infection from using that type of a bandage. So instead of paying multiple pesos or dollars for a gauze pad for the injury I had on my left leg, where the board fell on it and ripped it open down almost to the bone, I had to dress that twice a day, and you'd have to use at least 3 gauze pads. So that would be 3 times 24 or 48 twice a day. That's 50 pesos a day, $1 a day. And it's no different than using 2 of those for 1 peso a day. So it's 50 times cheaper to use a material like that. Now, I'm not a doctor, and I'm not saying you should do it, but it works for me, and it's worked for me for 40 years. Now, in addition to that, if you use the bandage that they wrap around your leg in the hospital, I have a box of that somewhere. It's $12 for 10 yards. $12 for 10 yards. But if you take one of these blue bandages, this is what real men do. We're just doing real men stuff today. Okay. So in here is I still haven't found my suture kit, but I'm working on it. So in here is a pair of surgical scissors, and this is box tape. This is another roll of box tape that I had that I was going to use next. And then in here, I'll take this out, put this down, I'll take the box tape out. I put the box tape over those half peso. This is my sterile wiping stuff for the peroxide. I take those blue diapers and I cut them, and I cut them into 4x4 squares. This is the blue side, this is the white side. Then I put it on my leg, and then I just take tape and tape it. I have a cut on my arm, I put it on my arm. I would have to make a little bit bigger ones for other things, but it depends on where your injury is. So these bandages cost about a half a peso each to make. I've never had an infection in 40 years using similar products. The other ones cost you 100 or 50 pesos a day. This way, for 2 bandages is 1 peso a day. The other tape is $12 a roll. You might get 7 wraps. So that's $1.50 a wrap, twice a day. That's $3 for the wrap, $1 for the gauze pads. That's $4 a day times 30 days. That's $120 a month. This way, it costs me total 1 peso a day, 30 pesos. Basically, this costs about 40 pesos a month. So that's 70 pesos a month, or $1.40, or $120. Which would you like to use? And I'm not kidding about this. I'll show you this. I have a whole box of these. I prepped them with different sizes. Here's a whole, they're all different sizes, different wounds, different sizes. There's a 2x2, 4x4. There's a 2x3, which is what fell on my foot. A 2x2. Not happy about that. And it was my fault. It was my fault. It was after a big storm, and I didn't check the location of the wood, and I just touched the wood, and it fell on my foot. Opened up a gash, almost 2 inches long, 3/8 of an inch deep, and 3/8 of an inch wide. And no, I did not go to the doctor. I went in and I didn't go in. I went in and got my medical kit, some hydrogen peroxide, and some sterile toilet paper. I went out and dressed the wound and went right back to work. Scott Lofago will confirm that. He has a copy of that video. In fact, I put it on a live stream. This is what real men do. I had to go back to work because otherwise I would have went. Most people, I would say, I don't know, we'll let Scott or John or somebody else that saw the wound on my foot that I dressed in the field dressing. I would say that if 100 people got that injury, more than 95 would have went straight to the hospital. They would have dropped their tools, panicked, of course, panicked. That's always part of the process. Left their tools out on the field, and then, or in the yard, in this case, left their tools. They would have panicked. They would and not give it a second thought to just leave the house. Maybe they'd lock the door. I don't know. And they would go to the hospital. Then they'd sit in the hospital room maybe 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, waiting for a doctor to see them. Then the doctor's going to come in and give them a little numbing and then sew it up. Me? Nope. I cleaned it, dressed it, put my half peso bandage on there, some silver sulfadiazine, which I have several tubes of, silver sulfadiazine, and went right back to work. Now, it did hurt. It never hurt enough. Well, it hurt enough. It hurt enough that I knew I had a gash a half inch wide and 3/8 of an inch deep and 2 inches wide. I mean, I was theoretically looking at raw meat, which I had to cut the excess meat off the wound, which I did. It was only a small amount. But it hurt because that little meat that was hanging out of the wound was still part of my leg at the time of the procedure. Dr. Fazio. Just call me Dr. Fazio. Cure what ails you. So anyway, Scott will tell you. So I would say 95% of the people that would have gotten a wound like that would have went straight to the hospital. They would have been bitching, oh, look at my leg, look at my leg, look at my leg. Whereas real men don't do shit like that. Here's my... Real men are not going to cry. So no matter how much pain, a real man may have tears in his eyes, but a real man doesn't cry about physical pain. There might be tears, and it might look like he's crying. Now, a real man might cry emotional tears, because real men cry too. I mean, that's not beyond what a real man can do. But real men, from the pain that I had, would have dropped most people right to their knees. They would have wanted to be carried out. They would have fainted. They would have cried, oh, my leg. You would have heard all kinds of shit. But on that live video that I had, of the board falling on my foot, it's live. And then looking down and going, oh, shit, that's going to slow me down for at least 15 minutes. And looking at my leg, what I did, what a real man does, what I did, and it's on video. It's on video of the board falling. It's on video of the board falling on my leg. And then I'm on video walking over to the camera to pick the camera up to show people what happened. Most people, and I wouldn't blame them, but most people would faint. Or they would be faint of heart. They would be flailing around like a little girl. But if you've been through enough catastrophic or possibly catastrophic incidences, you realize that fainting is not an option. Not an option. That could kill you in and of itself. You just have to deal with the situation. So let's get back over to the comments. And that's what I did. Now, that's a real video. And that's really that has really been sent out to my friends. I'm not sure if I put it on Patreon or not. He's a digger and a digging and a digging and a digging, says Scott. Oh, no, the blood is rushing out of Digger's head. John, that's true. Read Patrick Barker's comments about what's going on in the evidentiary procedures of the court system. Patrick Barker has the belief that there might be civil unrest by December 12th. That's his belief. Might be. There are people that are going to watch this, that are going to know more about that. Marvelous Mark, the King of the Dark. Thanks for the pot banging boss. Thank you for the super chat, Marvelous Mark. Actually, that flashlight was supposed to have a video made about the piece of garbage. Omni, every Omni flashlight, I bought 3, same flashlight. 3 of the same flashlight. It's the same model. Where is it? Here it is, right here. It's a piece of shit. The Omni AEL4360. It is a piece of garbage. None of them have lasted a year and a half. Now, I charged this up, well, a week ago, and it's not working. So either the switch doesn't work or the battery is dead. Either way, to take it apart and put another one to check it out, I don't really, I'll just buy a different flashlight. But thank you, Marvelous Mark. The ugly wound, says Scott Del Fuego. Definitely. So I could put it up there. Greeting, Matt. Oh, my God. This is an old but well-known name. Matthias Meister. Greetings, Rabbi Jew Barker. Thank you very much for stopping by. Actually, I think that you about my live stream. Not that I count. And let's see what else we're going to talk about. Thank you, Matt. Matthias, that's what, Matthias Meister. So the wound, if I showed you a picture of the wound, which is really simple to do, because I have pictures of the wound, YouTube would definitely demonetize this video. It's raw. It's a raw, open, bleeding, bloody wound. Believe me. But moving back to what real men do. I've seen men get hurt worse and not say a thing about it. Just like, that they are in need for a hospital. What's going on? You need to go to the hospital, and let's go. And you get them to the hospital. I've seen men with less than what I had crying. Oh, look at my leg. And at that point, I want to walk away. I won't walk away, but I hate to see a grown man cry. So if you are, sometimes people are legitimately hurt. At that point, it's legitimate to want to get serviced at a hospital. Now, Patrick is a perfect example of that, as a matter of fact. Patrick got a really severe cut on his finger 2 months ago, right around the same time I had my leg wound, and I didn't think it was that bad, and I made a bad judgment call and said that's not that bad. But then when I really looked at Patrick's video, he really had a deep cut that needed to be addressed from glass. Glass will screw you up every time. So, but he didn't cry. He just went to the doctor and he made a joke of it. So some men are real men, and some men would faint. Now, some men can't watch somebody else get hurt without getting wheezy, and if they get hurt, nothing happens. Me, it don't matter either way. I've helped dead people from wrecks, thinking that they could be saved, but they couldn't be saved. I remember that. I remember it was my 25th birthday. Actually, it was a friend of mine, and we were coming home from eating at a very famous steak and lobster house out in Freeport, Long Island. Freeport something restaurant. And anyway, Ansel passed me by. Now, I just happened to be 2,000 feet from my exit. And a car passed us by well over 130 miles an hour. And it happened to be a guy named Ansel. Ansel, he lived out on Eagle Avenue in West Hempstead. And with that, he swerved. I don't know if he swerved around my car, but he passed in the left lane. And he swerved, and he went straight and hit a weeping willow tree. And when I pulled over, I was with my friend Tommy. And when I pulled over, there was a woman crunched up in the front of the car who's, well, the inside of her head was pretty much out of her head. And Ansel, that guy, Ansel, he was walking around. He was drunk. There were beer cans in the car and everything like that. And I kind of I talked with the woman for as long as I could, and then the ambulance came, but it didn't make me wheezy. I felt bad because after a few minutes, when I saw who the driver was, the woman was actually a child. Now, I was only 25, but these were my friends who lived only doors away from my aunt in West Hempstead, 503 Eagle Avenue, I think her address was. And she used to take us out there for the summer because she had a huge in-ground pool. And we played with these people, Ansel, the girl, I forgot her name, and so basically I realized I knew her, but I mean, that was probably the worst thing that I had to experience, but I didn't get dizzy. The guy I was with, he was a wuss. He walked away. He couldn't, and he was going, come on, let's go. And I'm going, no, I'll wait for the ambulance. So I did, and I did something else before I left, and turned out that Ansel needed an ambulance too. He had gotten hurt a little bit more than what he thought about in the accident, but this was a really bad. So I mean, it didn't bother me that she was my friend. Didn't bother me that her head was split wide open. She was still able to talk. She was going, am I okay? And I'm going, you're okay. Don't worry about it. I did the same shit they did to me and they do in the movies. They tell you, yeah, you're okay. Don't worry about it. Meanwhile, you're looking at them, you're going, you're going to die. You are going to die. There's no doubt about that. Let me go back. It's Dutch for Matthew. Okay, Matthew Midas. Oh, wait, Matthew Meister. Matthew Meister. Thank you, Matthew. Actually, that Matthew is a biblical name. And the guy Thomas I mentioned was a biblical name, and Michael is a biblical name, and Matthew, Tommy, and I, and Edward. That's a satanic name, Edward. Did you know that the word ED, if you trace its origins back, going back prior 0000, Ed is a derivative for the name Satan or the devil, ED. And that was the fourth guy of our friends. Matthew Meister, enjoying your videos for years. Thank you, Matthew. Matthew, so I would ask you, have you ever found me to be a liar? Because I have trolls saying he's a liar, even though I am not. Have you ever found that to be true? Rabbi, says Scott Del Fuego. Rabbi, he's Rabbi. Oh, I know what Scott wants. This is Rabbi Jew Barker in the Philippines, baby. I missed my cue for on stage cue. Scott says, I got jabbed with a pipe, a sharp pipe, by the way, and it messed up my HD tattoo. Had to get stitched due to the job requirements. Well, with your job, it would probably be mandatory, and they want that to be recorded. I would definitely. Not only that, it's free, and you're going to get the best service. Where I was, I would have had to put tools away. You saw the job site. I would have had to put tools away. I had them all over my property, everywhere. I would have had to put tools away. I would have had to put extension cords away, lock the container, lock the house, get my wallet, get on a tricycle. We're talking about at least 5, 6, 7, 8 hours to get my thing addressed. And meanwhile, I did it in 14 or 15 minutes. Matthew Meister. Yes, Matthew Mythus Vincent to be XCAT. XCAT. Matthew Meister. Yes, Mathis Mathis Vincent to be exact. Okay, so your name is Matthew Vincent. Thank you. I won't remember. So I might remember it, but I can't promise that. But so just come on and say Mightus Mista, and then say Matthew Vincent next time. Thank you. I have never witnessed a live from Mr. Fazio. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you very much. No one has. So everybody that says I'm a liar, it must mean that they're a liar. High def. Rabbi Jew Barker in the Philippines, baby. Let's put that to music. Digga. What are we gonna do when we're done banging the pot and with the show, Digga? Whee! You want to get buried today, Digga? Oh yeah! Oh yeah! How deep do you want to go? Deep? Put me in. You want to go in head first or feet first? Head first, Rabbi. Always good to get head first. That's my exact feelings, Digga. You're going into the hole head first, and then when we get you into the hole, after we get digga, digga's jammed up, digga. And after we get, when I see his lights, when you see the lights go on, when you see the lights of his anti-gravity boots go on, it's time to dig Digger out of the hole. See those little lights? That's Digger's way of saying, get me out of here, Rabbi. Get me out of here. Watch, you can see Digger's lights. Ready? No, this one won't do lights. Next one does lights. This is the emergency broadcasting system from Digger, 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 Digger. Digger says, get me out of here. And he does it in Morse code in lights. Ready? There you go. Get me out of here. So, Digger, we saved the Digger. Saving diggers is what we do. Saving diggers for me and you. Digger, 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 digger. In the hole, out of the hole. 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 In digger, 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 digger. Digger two. We love you. So I have a whole series of videos. I'm going to be digging another large hole. And when I get that hole dug, I'm going to have to put Digger on an extension rope. I'll put the rope to the chain to the Digger. And, of course, when I do that, I am going to put Digger. I'm going to put Digger in a bag. I'm going to bag him up because I got to tell you, putting Digger in the dirt, I did that once before. And just putting Digger in the dirt but not in a bag, even though the dirt was dry and it was clean dirt, as if dirt could be clean, because dirt is dirty, but it was clean dirt. You got to, and it took me an hour to clean Digger up. I ain't doing that again. So I might even double bag Digger, and not with these little plastic bags. I'll double bag them I have some blue bags that I brought from New York, some blue supermarket plastic bags that that no longer are available. But I'll double bag Digger. It's always good to double bag everything anyway, especially if you don't know what kind of dirt you're going to run into or if the tide is going to come up. Say you forget Digger in the hole. Say you leave Digger in the hole overnight. So you got Digger and the machine breaks. Now you got to fix the machine and you're not concerned about Digger. And if you leave Digger in the hole overnight, in the morning, you got to take Digger back out of the hole. It's a big, you got to keep a rope on Digger at all times. He needs to be on a leash, so to speak. Oh, no, Matthew. No, the algorithms, here's the word perfectly, but I'm not going to post that. But, yeah, no, they won't. The algorithms will not make a mistake with that. No. Simulacron. Oh, boy. Now, there is a man I want to meet, Simulacron. Simulacron. I want to meet you. I've seen some of the comments you've left on not so accomplished YouTube pages, not so well liked for sure, but people that have unaccomplished or nothing really like on their YouTube channel that's out of the ordinary, extraordinary. Simulacron goes there and he writes them a little story like this, like you ever see, like that Simulacron does. He verbally abuses people properly, which probably means in real life he's probably knows how to handle himself well, I would think, because if you could verbally abuse somebody almost every time, there are exceptions to that rule. If you can verbally abuse somebody intelligently, usually you can handle it on a physical level. But there are exceptions to the rule, and that's what we're talking about here. Simulacron sticks it to them. So, I've been there also. So, Simulacron says, drenching your arms in blood and giving first aid to a victim, I can turn off emotionally. But I have gotten the shakes after it's all over. It's a large impact to your psyche. Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, that's what they call that PTSD syndrome. And it's after the fact. and that's real. So I don't have that, but I understand that other people do. I don't get that. I don't get wheezy. I've seen some really horrible shit I've seen people flattened out to about 1/8 of an inch. I was just talking to the guy just before lunch, and he got flattened to. He was this thick. The man, the worker I was working with was this thick. His wallet and his boots. But the boots were a little thicker because they were Vibram soles. They don't crush so easy. But a 22-ton piece of steel fell on the guy, sheet steel, and he flattened him out. He was this thick. He was a blood splotch on the ground. Oh, no, undo. What did I do? Okay, I'm sorry. I thought I pushed block somebody. Wait, no. Let's see. I apologize. Let's see. View the message. An officer medical. Are you an officer medical? Are you an officer? Psst, I had it. No, I made a mistake. Unhide user. That's my fault. I apologize. I wasn't even. The buttons on the computer are a little bit hard to work sometimes, and I'm not. Okay, there you go. All right. So, does anybody have a question? There's not much news in regards to the Philippines. There's not much news here. I need water. So, if in case you're wondering, how I could do 2 shows like this for 4 hours today, it was that extra cup of coffee. I gotta tell you, the coffee that they make here tastes like crap. It really does taste like crap. You got to mix it with water and hold your nose and drink it, unless you put sugar in it. And I put a little bit of sugar in it sometimes. I need water. When you take that coffee that we have here. It comes in 50-gram bags. I'll show it to you. In fact, I got to bring these over to one of them. Nope. I got only the sauce here. I'll show you the bag. Anyway, it comes in these little bags. They're 50 grams of sugar. And it's called Nescafe Classic. So it makes 50 cups of coffee. But typically, I will have 1 tablespoon of this. Sometimes with a small amount of sugar mixed in, and sometimes not. So what I try to do is just put a tablespoon of this stuff into a coffee mug with cold water, not hot water. I mix it around and I down that. And that will keep me going. Coffee doesn't dissipate out of my body for 12 hours. So if I had a cup of coffee this morning at 7 o'clock, until 7 o'clock tonight, I won't get tired, nor will I want to nap. However, if I drink coffee at 7 o'clock in the morning, I can go to sleep at 8 or 9 o'clock at night. But if I drink coffee at noon, I will not get to sleep until midnight, 12 hours, how long coffee stays in my system. G. Boone, let's see the wound. No, G. Boone, I'm not going to have my video taken down because I showed a bloody wound on it. And if you were a member of I'm not asking you because I know you for like 6, 7 years now. but only my Patreon members have the privilege of seeing the wound and the wound dressing, being dressed. And not all of them, but only my Patreon members and my personal friends, who I know a lot of people say, he's a, well, what I heard yesterday, oh my God, somebody sent me a video this morning about a video that was made about me. The video was made yesterday. Guy lost his shit, man. He lost his shit. He lost his shit because somebody super chatted me money. That's nothing. Wait till I buy the cement mixer. I already have people that are interested in buying it for me. Not all of it, but I mean, putting a large donation towards the cement mixer. I don't want them super chatting me $100. I don't want that to happen. I'd rather just work it out with them, where when the time comes and the cement mix is available, we put the money together and it's transferred into my Philippines bank account. I'll give them the numbers and we'll get that machine rolling. But no, G Boone, you don't get to see my private videos. I like you. I always like the videos that you posted, but the reason I have a Patreon account is so that people pay to see those videos. And no one can flag the videos for graphic violence or content because they're set privately. They can't be used as a public video because they're only set in a private domain. So thank you for being concerned about the wound. There's no way you're going to send me your email address or anything like that. But thanks for you come by occasionally. I appreciate that. I like your channel. I like the videos you used to post, but only personal friends. And I heard in the video that was sent to me this morning, he's a cheap bastard. And I heard the word scumbag. I heard that word scumbag. Not in person, but I heard the word scumbag, and I didn't appreciate that much. And what he does, but here's the truth. Truth is that on my personal mail list of 10 people, 11, me included, one, I have to look. I think two. I should be getting mail from somebody this morning about my Patreon account. They wanted to become a member at the $50 price range, but I'm not sure that I'm going to let them join the account. And if they haven't acknowledged my email, I just go to Patreon and block them. It's not problematic. The $50 is not so important to me. They're about ready to get blocked. Okay, that's something that I have to do. Let me see who those 10 people are. I won't give you their names. I want to just tell you how many people that are on my personal friends list that are not members of my Patreon community, and they're not even currently, they haven't given Super Chat in as much as 2 or 3 years. And 5 more. Okay. That guy is not a member of my Patreon community. That's 2. 3 is not a member of my Patreon community. 2 of those 3 haven't given me a Super Chat. 1 about 2.5 years. No. What am I saying? 2.5 years. 1 was sending me Super Chat, I think, as recently as last April. No, not this April, last April. Jeez. A year and, I guess it's a year and a half. And yet, I still had such a good friendship with the man. And he was very generous to me. And it doesn't cost me anything, you might say, to send this man my videos, but I liked him. There's a big difference if I like you and I don't like you. Now, it wasn't because of the money. I sent him shirts, my On Time Baco and Zola Craft shirts when I was in New York last year. And he was very generous to me with Super Chat. And then he decided to get off YouTube and said in a letter, Michael, I'm not going to be coming on YouTube anymore. Please don't contact me. And I will not be going on YouTube anymore at all. And I sent him back a letter. All right, I'll just send you my videos. So as far as to my knowledge, he's never given any more Super Chat, and that's okay. Not only did I like him as a man, as a friend, as a person, but he was somebody I could relate to in real life. And there's another man who was on my Super Chat about 2 years ago. I don't want to tell you what his pledge was. I won't. And he took me on vacation to the Florida Keys last year because we've been friends since we were children. Now he gets all my uploads. That's my friend Carl. And the third person who's always gotten my uploads, whether he was a member of Patreon or not, is Jack Thompson. And I will never stop sending Jack Thompson uploads because when Jack and I get on the phone, we laugh our asses off. So it means a lot between men, and Jack is a real man. And Carl, he developed one of the biggest businesses in New York City of its kind from scratch, from working 15 or 20 hours a day, 7 days a week to build up his business. That's a real man. And the third man is a real man. I'm not going to mention his name. So these people that haven't, I mean, you know, Carl takes you on vacation, cost them a couple of $1,000s. I mean, that's kind of, you know, that's above and beyond. I mean, I'll have to send Carl videos for the rest of my life or his life. But he doesn't care whether I send him videos or not. None of them do. And I know this because I send this out, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 people. 10 people, including myself. And I'll only get 3 views for those 10 people and the now 16 members of my Patreon account, or 15. So out of 26 people, the videos will only get 3 views. Not only do they send me money every month in Patreon, they don't even watch my videos. They don't care. They could care less that I post a video on Patreon. They don't care. So the people that are my Patreon members don't do it so they could watch my videos per se. They do it to help me continue to pay for my new computer, which is paid for, SD cards when necessary, the new GoPro Hero 5 and Hero 7, the drives that go with it. I'm going to need a new cell phone soon. I don't know how much longer this will last. Working perfectly now, works perfect. And when I say works perfect, I mean it rings clear as day. You can hear it. I paid $120. Actually, it's $120. And I paid $120 for it, 6,000 pesos. I did have to put a motherboard in this for $36 3 years ago. I don't use it. I don't keep it in my pocket. I might take it to the city to get a load in it so I remember what the telephone number is. But I'm going to need a new phone. But I wouldn't say this piece of shit Oppo phone for $120. It's now, I could tell you when I bought it. I bought it the week before I went to meet Daisy in Davao. and that was April 21st of 2016. So I bought it April 15th of 2016. So it's 17, 18, 19, 20. It's going on 5 years, and it still works fine. But eventually I'll need a new phone, and when I do, I'll put it on the e-begging list. I'm not embarrassed to ask you for money. It's up to you if you want to give. Jesus, he said it is better. Jesus, come on over here. Tell them again. They don't listen, Jesus. These are the people. Oh, ye of little faith. Oh, ye of little faith. Jesus, tell them. Oh, yeah. What do you want me to tell them? Tell them about giving and reaping and sowing. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Fazio's right. It's better to give to Michael Fazio than it is for Michael Fazio to give to you. And how do we know this is true? It's in the Bible in red letters. All right, thank you, Jesus. You're welcome. I'll put you down. Put me down, Michael Fazio. Put me down. I'll put you down, Jesus. See, there you have it. And Jesus also said, what you reap, you shall sow. I don't know why it's so hard for people to remember these quaint little sayings, but it is. Let me read the comments. So, wound, no wound. Post-traumatic stress, over it finally. So, Matthew Vincent. Okay, so Matthew Vincent had it. Say, I know it's real. I've seen it happen. So, and you would say, well, that shit happened to you years ago. I have trouble. I don't think I ever had it. If I did, I don't remember it. But I've seen other people that do have it. I could give you an example. Somebody that was afraid of water, drowning, don't want to go in the water, even though it happened when the person was 17 years old. Even 10 years later, they only go into water up to their knees. It's hard for me to understand that because I love being underwater. And I know that swimming above water with a life jacket and a mask and snorkel is safe. But they have post-traumatic stress syndrome about drowning. And I've seen it firsthand. It's probably the only thing the person feared to do. Nescafe is from here, Holland, the Netherlands. I didn't know that. I'll take your word for it. Amsterdam. Let's see the two. No. It's a nice machine. Scott says, why was I? Okay. Scott says, we're wordsmithing now. There is a raging lunatic that haunts the YouTube universe. He lies and taunts and makes crazy threats. An old man's appearance, but a child's mind, says the wordsmith. That's true. That's very true. I'll read it again. Not so dramatic. Let me let me get a little water because I plan on not being so dramatic. Might be a little loud though. Four big gulps, 7 little bubbles each gulp, 28 bubbles, and a burp. So, ready? Scott Del Fuego is wordsmithing. Dun, 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 dun. I got to do something. I need a megaphone. Scott Del Fuego says, there is a mofo raging lunatic that haunts YouTube universe. He likes and taunts and makes crazy threats. An old man's appearance, but a child's mind, says the wordsmith. It does. It works pretty good. It's true. So, moving on. Me. I'm not asking you to send money to the Philippines. I don't believe a word of that. I don't know why you're saying it. I can't pay. I don't know what it's in reference to, Matthew. I can't pay. It's too risky. I am marked as a criminal for life. Me sending money to the Philippines is asking for trouble. Ah, okay. He's just kidding. Okay. So, no, it's not vodka. It wasn't. Is that in a vodka bottle? No, this is a rum bottle. This is what we call tanduay. They call it rum. I call it vodka. This stuff, it's anise water. Is water with anise flavoring in it. This stuff is, it's 80 proof, I think. Yeah, 80 proof. And this is a 1 liter bottle, which they just raised the price of this crap from 100 and it was 98 pesos. A week later it went to 102 pesos, and then a few weeks after that, when I went to buy it the other day, it went to 138 pesos. So it basically went up 40 pesos for this bottle since the lockdown. And the reason I'm buying this is because there was a birthday party for a friend of mine who's going to have his birthday, and I have never missed his birthday party ever since the day I got to the Philippines. And it's a hoopla celebration, I'll tell you that. Where you know, you talk about a big family. How about there was a wedding in his one of his first cousins, who actually, her husband was from America, and he came to visit me and invite me to his wedding, him and his wife's wedding, and Daisy also. Daisy was with me at the time, and there were 220, 230 people at the wedding. And I said, "Is this all your family?" She goes, "Oh no, my family is such and such, so and so's family, the birthday boy's family. If I invited everybody, there'd be almost 700 relatives, because their family, the family, is the oldest family in the entire area of Panglao, with the most cousins and relatives. In fact, I'll be walking down the street in the city to give you an idea how vast this family is. I'll be walking down the street. I was in the BIR. I'm in the BIR about July, August, September, October 16th. I'm in the BIR. And I say, "Hey, Fazio." Turn around, and "You remember me?" And I'm going, "No, I don't remember you." I mean, not that I didn't want to remember her, but I just don't remember faces. Unless you give me money, I'm not going to remember what you look like. I mean, it sounds crazy, but all my life I did jobs for people. If they gave me money, I remembered their name and who they were. If they asked me for a price for a job and didn't give me the job, I don't remember their name or their face. So if you give me money, I'll remember your name and your face. If you don't give me money for a job that I bid on, it's okay, but I just won't remember you. It's like a subliminal thing. It saves me the trouble of putting useless information inside the computer. So she says to me, "I'm so and so." So I looked at her and I said, "Oh yeah, now I remember. You had the white dress on, right?" She goes, "Yeah." I said, "You got some nice legs, girl." And she said, "Thanks," and she laughed. And she said, tell such and such I said hello. So not long after that, I don't know, second, third trip after that, I'm walking in a different part of Tagbilaran. I was actually walking into the other branch of the ICM mall computer store looking for it. Hey, Mike, how you doing? And another member of his family, they don't live where I live. They live in the city. But he's got family all over the place. So on this birthday that I'm about ready to go to, there'll be 12 cases of this stuff. So why do I know the price? Well, because I said to him, what do you want for your birthday? He said, one bottle of rum. Now, I have two shirts that I'm going to give him. They're my shirts from New York. They're nice polo shirts. His birthday is coming close. So I got him my shirt, but it's a nice Adidas shirt, a little tight on me. And plus, this material is too hot for me to wear. So he's going to get this shirt, which I just washed and hung out and dried and everything on my solar panel dryer, my new solar panel dryer. He's getting that shirt, which doesn't really fit anymore. And I don't know that it ever will fit, but it was in a box that I opened up a few days ago. And I have so many of those shirts like that from America that are just too warm to wear. I mean, Filipinos can wear that stuff, but I have trouble wearing anything more than a tank top. And then I got him a nice shirt with a collar. Now, I had a whole box of this stuff, and it has no rips or tears or marks or anything like that on it. It was probably a shirt I got and wore 2 or 3 times when I was about 19 years old, 20 years old, because that's about the last time this would have fit me. And so he's going to get 2 nice shirts and a bottle of Tanduay. And he knows he's always open to come to my house and ask me to borrow tools or help him repair something. And he is so dead against asking for help. He's such a proud Filipino man. He will be outside at 10 o'clock at night, banging on something, working to fix something. Let's just say he's fixing something. And I'll get dressed and go outside and say, what's up? And he'll go out. And I'll say, just wait a minute. I'll go get a wheel puller. And I'll get a wheel puller and pop the pull off the shaft, the pulley off the shaft. But he'll be out, and he knows damn well I have a wheel puller, or he will know that I will have a tool to take it off. Now, if I didn't have a wheel puller, I would just make 3 wedges, very slow tapered wedges. Would take me about, I don't know, 5 minutes to make 3 wedges, and I put them behind the the pulley, and pop it off. But he'll be out there with a hammer. He will not ask me for help, although he knows I will help him at any time of the day and night. So he's been a good friend of mine. And so I'll get him that. I have a couple of 10 bags of sauce for the party itself. So the price of rum has gone up from, well, I don't remember the last time I bought it, but it could have been a year ago when it was 98 pesos, because I don't go down to the liquor aisle. But it was 98, and then I looked at it recently, it was 102. And then when he said that he wanted a bottle, I bought 1 bottle for him. That's what he wants, 1 bottle. If he would have told me 5 bottles, I would have given him 5 bottles. So I bought 1 bottle of rum, and I bought 10 bags of sauce for the party. So this stuff is what all Filipinos drink, 80 proof. Now, if you give them, there is no other rum that I know of and if it is, it's imported. If you give them tequila, they will not drink it. They'll take the bottle of tequila and they'll put it up on the shelf. That's what they did a few times I brought tequila. Because you figure most people, when they're drinking, they'll switch over to tequila, have a couple of shots. They will not drink tequila. He may have drank it later. He may have given it away as a gift. But if he wants a bottle of rum for 138 pesos, which is $2.76, if my math is correct, that's what I bought him, a bottle of rum. And it's poison. Shit is poison. It is. I don't know how to tell you the kind of headache you get from drinking this stuff. I don't know how they do it every day. I don't hear them today. But right now, typically there are several people, just in a few minutes, they'll start showing up that are going to start drinking at the neighbor's house next door. And they'll stay drinking till 11 or 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning. And they won't stop. They will not stop drinking. They'll drink Tanduay and they'll drink Tuba. How they do it, I don't know. Once you get drunk on this crap, one time, you're done getting drunk on this crap. I'm talking about the worst hangover that you've ever had in your entire life from liquor is this shit. Not only that, when you drink it, it's almost like drinking rubbing alcohol. It's really nasty shit. But that's what he wants. That's what he drinks, and that's what they all drink. That's why there's 12 cases next door right now, 12 cases. So he wanted one bottle. He's got 12 cases and a bottle, 2 shirts, and 10 bags of sauce. They'll supply the spaghetti, or I'll supply the spaghetti if they don't have it. Getting sleepy, Mathis. Okay. Smirnoff is, any clear alcohol I'm okay with. Smirnoff vodka. Hello, ho, ho, and a bottle of rum. Okay, Scott Del Fuego. Message from S. Simulacron. Scott Del Fuego. We speak of being... Oh, let me scroll up. Scott Del Fuego. We speak of being who rants and raves. Okay, so we speak of being who rants and raves. He lives to hate and cannot be saved. Oh, now there you have, there's some truth. Every single time, no matter who it was, no matter what year, no matter what month, no matter what agreement was made, the agreement was always broken from him, not from anybody else first. And then, of course, evidence of that is removed from YouTube. And then the hate starts again all over from the beginning. He made a video about me. She made a video about me. And that's when we have to call in the big guns. We have to get Digger. We have to take Digger out of the bag, unbag Digger. Digger, come on over here. Unbag Digger. Digger. You have to take Digger out of the bag, and we have to prepare Digger and his diaper too for the crying and bitching that goes on. It's an amazing thing. Attack. And then when the attack is returned, he pulls down the attack videos, and then he goes, look, I'm being attacked. And that's why Digger carries the diaper. For those tears, the crying, the little bitching that goes on endlessly after the initial attack and the retaliatory attack. The initial attack videos disappeared from YouTube. And now, look, he's attacking me. I didn't do anything. Talking about... Yeah, Simulacron, we know. Scott Del Fuego, we speak of being who rants and who raves. He lives to hate and cannot be saved. The posterior is flabby, and so are his ethics. His philosophy of life is lacking in any aesthetics. Whoa, Simulacron moving into wordsmithing territory, are you? Are you out there wordsmithing on the side? Have you been talking to Huckleberry Finn? Have you been Huckleberry Finning your way through YouTube recently? That's pretty good. Let me read it again. Scott Del Fuego. We speak of being who rants and raves. He lives to hate and cannot be saved. The posterior is flabby, and so are his ethics. His philosophy is lacking in any aesthetics. Scott, you have a wrench. You can eliminate the competition. You could do that. It's your prerogative. Not that I'm saying you should do that, but Scott. Aussie Mick, what is the favorite decade of my life? I had a good life. It's hard to choose. But I would definitely say this, the 1970s. 1970s was a great time to grow up. You could drive a car, get drunk, fall asleep at the wheel, run off the road, sleeping while the car is still running, and the police would knock on your window or tap you on the shoulder and say, shut the car off, give me the keys. Give them the keys, they throw it in the back of the car. Freedom was an amazing thing back then. I graduated high school at the top of my class in what we called, I graduated with a full college diploma, college regents diploma. And I did not graduate high on that. I got a college regents diploma, which was hard to do for me. I'm not prone to some of the topics that you have to go through to get a college regents diploma. But in my high school, in mechanical skills, I graduated 17 out of 550 students. So it was an amazing thing. I was granted the ability to go to an extended 12th year of high school and including courses at the Academy of Aeronautics by LaGuardia Airport. And I went to the extended 12th, and so I got my airframe and my power plant jet mechanics license. And then immediately after high school, I went to work on the A-10A project at Fairchild Industries. Plus, I was building a 21-foot cabin cruiser. At the same time, I was working at Fairchild Industries. And also, I was getting ready for my first apartment. And the boat was finished on July 3rd of 1976. A 21-foot cabin cruiser that I took to Operation Sail, stayed there out on the boat for 3 days, never leaked a drop. It took 3 years to build it. I started it in high school, worked on through the extended 12th, through the Academy of Aeronautics, and also when I worked at Fairchild Industries, I had a job working at a pizzeria at night. I could get all the free pizza, free sausages, and free shrimp that I wanted from the restaurant. So when I graduated high school, I was working before I graduated high school in a pizzeria, and they had 5-pound blocks of shrimp and 5-pound blocks of lobster tails, and they allowed me to buy at cost. So my high school graduation was about 150 people in my backyard, and everybody had lobsters and shrimp and barbecued steaks and burgers, and it was a great day. And then I got my first apartment, and I kept the boat in back of my apartment so I could go out on the boat anytime I wanted, day or night. And that came in handy because when we got home from the club, 2 or 3, 4 of us would come home from the club. We would jump on the boat. It was a big clubbing back in the 70s, big night clubbing. Les Jardins, Studio 54 wasn't quite open at the time, but there were other places like Studio 54. One of them was Les Jardins. There were Scandals in Brooklyn. There was like 5 or 6 clubs that we went to. And the one where they made Saturday Night Fever, we went to that club on occasion. It was the 70s were great. 70s were great. I met a lot of cool people in the 70s. I partied with Bernadette Peters. I partied with the consulate from one of the African nations. I don't remember who he was. I don't remember his name. He took us to the Kennedy Towers in Queens. At that time, it was called the Kennedy Towers, to the penthouse apartment. And that was a party. I won't tell you what happened at the party, but that was a party. These were rich African diplomats that knew how to party. That was cool. I remember that till the day I died. I actually got to meet the Princess of Morocco at that same time. My friend Steve married the Princess of Morocco. I got to fly in a Learjet from New York City, Kennedy Airport, to Washington, D.C., where the King of Morocco's daughter lived. That was cool. I got to drive a Porsche, a Targa Porsche, which was Steve's. Now, he didn't give me the keys to the car, but he gave my friend the keys to the car. And my friend and I would go out clubbing. My friend Ernie. His name was Ernie. Boy, could that guy earn money. And he would take it to the club, but he would get hammered. I mean, so basically, I did not drink alcohol. I liked clubs, and I went to clubs, but I didn't drink alcohol. So he would go like this. You're driving. So I got to drive a Targa Porsche, brand new out of the showroom. The one with the whale tail that went up and down. Got to drive one of those. Ernie had a Corvette that he'd say, Mike, go get something from the store. And he'd go like this, and he'd hand me the keys. He also had a full-blown Cadillac at one point, and he had a full-blown Lincoln Continental, brand new, 1980 Lincoln Continental. So that was the end of 1970s. I got to drive one of those. At that time, I had a Taurus, a Ford Taurus with the big engine in it, but not a Ford Taurus, a Ford Torino. I had a GT6 Plus from in high school, a 1973 Camaro, 350 SS Camaro with 3-speed automatic in the middle. And then I had a 440 GTX with a 6-pack, 6 500-barrel carburetors. And then with 400 horse that turned 12.2 at the track with street tires. That was my favorite car. I sold that around 19. Had it in high school. Lots of pictures of that in high school. Had to sell it, though, when I moved into my apartment, my first apartment, right around 1976, because I couldn't do work from that car. I needed a work car, and I bought a station wagon, and I sold that car to a black man in Brooklyn for $2,000. And I was just looking at a show from Regs to Riches the other day, and they restored, it was a Plymouth Satellite, a white Satellite, a green Roadrunner, and they said they turned it into a GTX with a 426 Hemi. Well, those cars weren't set up like that. So it was a car that he sold for $75,000 and had. Now, it's unrealistic for me to think I should have saved that GTX, but I knew that was going to be a classic. But that car would be worth $100,000 today, and you would have had to store it and maintain it. So you're gonna have loss for time and equipment if you didn't wreck it. That car was dangerous. I went 110 miles an hour, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. It had a 446 pack. This is just why I like the 70s. It was a Plymouth, a real GTX from the factory, dual exhaust, 440 horsepower, cubic inch engine with a 6-barrel carburetor. It had a 3-speed slapstick with a 9-inch torque converter into 411 Dana rear and Dana axles. It was a race car with a street license plate on it. And when you opened up those other 4 carburetors and opened up all 6 carburetors, it would go, whoa! And that was like the coolest sound that you'll ever hear in your life. They called it a 446 pack because you could put 6 beer cans inside, one inside each barrel of the carburetor. Plus, in the 70s, I met my first real girlfriend that I stayed with for about 3.5 years, Terry, which I used to call her Bip. She died 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago now. She called me up on Facebook and said, Mike, I miss you, about 3 months ago. And I called her back. She never answered. She left me a message. And I called her again. And she goes, Mike, I want to talk to you. I miss you. And I'm going, there's something wrong. And I called her up a third time not so long after that. And her son answered the phone, Anthony, and said she was dead. So that was the best time of my life, the 70s. Plus, I got to go, when we got back from the club, not only did I have a boat in 1976, when I moved over to the Howard Beach from Hamilton Beach, not only did I have a boat, but Ernie had a boat. Let's see, who else had a boat? Harry Papalardo had a boat that he would leave the keys in the boat if you wanted to use his boat. He was like this rich Italian guy that lived next door. So I lived here, and then Ernie lived like in the next unit over to the right. Peter lived to the left. Harry lived over another 8 inches away from Ernie in another. Buildings were mated up but not attached to each other. So there were 3 boats. So we could theoretically bring 8 or 10 people home from a nightclub by telling them, hey, you want to go out on the boat for the day tomorrow? And a lot of people said yes, girls and guys. And we would take them out on the boat, and we'd go to Sheepshead Bay Beach, or there were sandbars, Horseshoe Crab Beach. It was all beautiful places that you could go, and the water was clean back then. It was a cool time to live, the 70s. I guess that would be my best year. The 80s, the 80s were a lot of fun, but I got to tell you, the 80s were a living life on the edge every day, every day, every day, every day. The people that I met in Queens expanded to a whole family, multiple families of people from Brooklyn. I wasn't really ready for Brooklyn people at the time. They're different people. Brooklyn people are hustlers beyond hustling. They have no moral turpitude at all. They become your friends so they could set you up to rob you. But the people I grew up with in Howard Beach, they weren't like that. You just turned 40. You'll never see the kind of parties we had in New York. I mean, first of all, I lived in a wealthy neighborhood. Second of all, I had a good job. And third of all, I always worked hard. I always had my own business aside from my job. So I had a lot of money. I mean, even making $1.85 an hour in high school, that was 40 or 50 cents more than anybody else. Plus, I used to build picnic tables and stuff like that, put doors in. Even before I had a car, I was doing work down the block. I would get septic tank jobs. It was a cool time to live, the 70s. And the 80s, I got to meet a lot of famous people in the 80s. I got to meet hundreds and hundreds of famous people. I got to do some of the craziest stuff you'll ever. If I told you the stories about the 80s, the stuff I just told you is believable. The stuff I could tell you about the 80s is not believable. It's just not realistic. Who you would meet and where they would bring you and what you would do. I got to fly in a Learjet in the 80s too. In fact, I got to fly in a Learjet in 1988. So I guess it was 77 and 88. That was pretty cool. I got to fly from Traverse City, Michigan to the great state of Texas in a Learjet with a guy named Bob, who was the great-great-grandson of the guy who made the ball mason jar and eventually was the sole supplier of beer cans for Budweiser. And I think he got a nickel a can starting from the time the cans were first made. A nickel a can. For every Budweiser that was sold in America, he got 5 cents because he was the only canning company for Budweiser. So I got to fly in his Learjet too. That was fun. And how I met that guy, it was a good story. In a bar, it was called the Steelhead Trout Bar, right outside Traverse City. I think it was the Steelhead Trout. And I'm hanging out with my friend Paul, who I used to fly with out of the airport up by Paul's house, ultralights. In fact, Paul was an ultralight instructor. And I'm at the bar, and I'm talking to this guy, and he's got on a flannel shirt. And on his flannel shirt, this was a nice flannel shirt with the pearl buttons. I had one, but I didn't have the one with the suede elbows, so you could put your hand down on it, didn't wear out the elbows. And he was sitting at the bar, and I'm talking to him, and he saw me come in with Paul, and Paul might have said something to him, I don't know. And I'm talking to him, and I'm looking at his left elbow, and it's worn out. And I'm like, it's a beautiful shirt, but it's worn. And I'm going, oh, it's odd to see a shirt like that worn out. So he said to me, what are you doing up here? I said, I'm buying a barge. And he goes, oh, you're the one that's buying Barge Dragon? I said, yeah, because he grew up in Traverse City. And he says, oh, that's cool. He goes, I used to play on that barge when I was a kid because every kid in Traverse City played on Barge Dragon. So he goes, what have you been up to besides that? I said, you're friends with Paul. I said, yeah. He goes, you guys been flying? I said, yeah, we went flying yesterday. Today, it was too windy to fly. 6-knot crosswind, too windy to fly in ultralight. Well, it was too windy to fly a pterodactyl. Could have flew Paul's plane, but we didn't have Paul's plane there. Paul had a Buccaneer too, with a 100-horse Rotax engine on it. So he says to me, so do you know how to fly? So Paul's getting me acclimated to ultralights, and he's going to certify me for ultralight pilot. He goes, that's cool. He goes, you want to go flying tomorrow? And I'm going, it's going to be a storm tomorrow. He goes, I'll tell you what, I'll meet you at the airport. We'll have breakfast. Because I got nothing to do. I wasn't going to do any work on the barge if it was raining. Plus, I was waiting for supplies. He goes, well, I'll meet you at the airport. We'll have breakfast. If it's nice, we'll fly out. If not, we'll just have breakfast. And now I'm thinking, oh, my God, this guy is, I don't know, the town had mostly really cool people in it, but I don't know this guy to meet him at the airport, to go flying with him. Because you got to worry about when you're flying with somebody, can they fly? You know, apparently he could, and he could fly a lot better than me. So we're sitting down at the airport lounge, and he goes, look, he goes, let's go. We'll go flying today. And I'm going, we can't go flying today. It's too windy. He goes, no, I have the plane. And the plane rolls up in front of where we're eating, and it's a Learjet. Come on, let's go. And he took me to Texas. At which point we got, he tells me, my ranch starts here. My ranch starts here. And we flew for a few more minutes. and we landed at a private airport on his ranch, his great granddaddy's ranch that who owned Ball Mason jars. He owned outright Ball Mason jars. And then we took a small plane, a little Cessna, and we took it to the where the horses were, and we went horseback riding. And I said to him, when we got in the plane, he let me fly. I was still in the right seat, but he let me fly. He goes, "Oh, you know how to fly?" I said, "Well, I got some time in some small aircraft, plus Paul." He goes, "As long as you keep the ball on the in the bubble, I'm okay with that." So I said, "By the way, how far are we going to be flying? I mean, where are we going?" Because we're going to my stable. I'm going, he goes, "It takes 20 minutes to cross my property." So, okay. And that's about what we were flying. We flew to the other end of the property. There was another house and ranch there. And that was pretty cool. So his name was Bob. He introduced himself as Robert. So when I said to Paul came over, said hello. I don't know. I was drinking that night. And I was celebrating the buying of the barge itself. And plus, I was with good friends. I had known these people for 2 or 3 weeks. Very, very, very tight, close group of people. I said to Paul, "Is this guy okay to fly with?" He goes, "Yeah, he'll be okay." I said, "Is he okay to be with?" He goes, "Yeah, he's okay." So he laughed, and that was all I needed from Paul. And he goes, "I'll see you in a couple of days." I didn't know what he meant. I didn't know what he meant when he said, "I'll see you in a couple of days." But then I knew once the plane rolled up in front of the diner, but we were going to be gone for a while. We were gone 3 days. It was a great time. When I came back, I flew the pterodactyl, which I crashed in a crosswind. I was not a pterodactyl. I never liked pterodactyls. Not only then, I flew an ultralight with a front canard. I didn't like those at all. I like the rear elevators and stabilators. I like everything behind me. The front canard kind of threw me off. It was a little bit like backwards, and I didn't like that. But I had the pterodactyl, which is a triangular shaped ultralight, about 22 feet wide, had a 40 horse Rotax engine on it. And I was coming in for a perfect landing after I got lost. I had to find the main road and follow it back, because you kind of lose sight of where you are. Michigan is all forest. So when you get off the road at a certain angle, you don't see the road anymore. So you only have like 2 gallons of gas for your motor, which is like 45 minutes to an hour of flying. But I had flown, I don't know where I was. I was just flying. I figured I'd be able to keep an eye on the airport because there was a small tower with a sock in the airport. And I lost track of where the airport was. So you do 2 things at that point. You look, you make a big circle, and you look for the airport at some point in the perimeter of that circle. Check your gas, and if you're going to run out of gas, just land on a road, and somebody will come and pick you up. So when in the big circle, I saw the main road and followed the main road back up to the airport. So it was a perfect flight, everything was perfect. And you come down between two tree lines that are about 150 meters apart. So you're coming down through the tree line, and up here, there's a crosswind, 2 or 3 knots. So you crab into the crosswind. It's called crabbing. You crab into the crosswind. Now, when you're coming down, you straighten it out so your gear is headed down the runway, which is grass, by the way. However, at that point where you coming into landing, there was an opening in the field where the road comes in and out of the airport. The road comes in one side of the airport, and then the road leaves into the mountains on the other side. And you'll get a crosswind there. And that's where the crosswind hit me. And it tipped my left wing down, and my back wheel hit hard, and it broke off. But it wasn't much more than an aluminum chair that was broke off. We fixed it in about 3 hours. El Banano Divertiti. El Banano. So that repaired effect. We effectively repaired that. We took it back. Paul had a full on repair shop in his garage, and it took the three of us about an hour. Good to go. Okay, so the verte means good to go. Missing bono. Okay, thank you. Ebono means big, bonus, like bono, ebono. Very good to go bonus. So that was pretty cool. And so that was my first and only crash landing. Then I went on in the 80s, in the early 90s to continue with my private pilot training on Cherokee Warrior. Cherokee Warrior. For those of you who don't believe me, you could look it up. 3875 Charlie was the tail designation. 3875 Charlie, and you could look up that it's a Cherokee Warrior 2. Cherokee Warrior 2, and that was the plane I learned how to fly with. 3875 Charlie. You don't forget your tag coming into the airport. If you do, you got to do a touch and go, or flyby. They won't let you land if you don't know your tail number. Anyway, I'm done. Thank you very much, everybody, for stopping by. Aussie Mick, I've just turned 40, and now I love reminiscing on party days. I've been to New York. It was lots of fun, and great strip clubs. I don't remember strip clubs in New York City. I don't remember those. Although, oh yeah, there were strip clubs in New York City. On 42nd Street, there were strip clubs. I never went to one, so I wouldn't know. But that's why. I mean, yeah, that's right. They did have it on 42nd Street. I don't remember what avenue. It was all prostitutes then. That's where you went to pick up a prostitute. Yeah, I remember. I remember you could go there. I never went there, but I remember that. Owlsy Mick, don't need to validate yourself, mate. You can tell you're telling the truth. Well, no, but 3875 Charlie would be not a tail. I don't know if the plane is still in use, but I hear a lot of people. Oh, you never? Yeah, I did. I flew 3875 Charlie, and I got a lot of hours in that plane, probably enough to solo, and then I got hit by a truck, and that was the end of my flying. But yeah, that was a cool plane, and it was a low wing. And the reason that Jimmy wanted me to learn on a low wing, he says, if you could fly a low wing, you could fly anything. I didn't like low wing. I every once in a while we'd take up a Cessna 175, 150, and it was a high wing, and I liked that a lot. It was a lot easier to land. The Warrior, you were coming in blind. You were just looking at the horizon and the bubble. I didn't like that at all. I didn't mind it. I mean, that's how most planes are. But I always thought I would like to see what I'm landing on. I never crashed that. I never even wing tipped anybody in alpha. That's worse than crashing your plane. Tipping somebody's wing in alpha, they frown on that shit. Thank you very much, Alcy Mick. No, it's just part of the shit I've done. Now, can I prove? Well, you're going back into 1988. Do I have pictures of the barge in Traverse City? Yeah. Did I take my camera to have breakfast with Bob? No, I didn't think that we, first of all, I was thinking in terms of flying that we were going to fly ultralights. And when I left the house in Michigan, anybody that's ever lived in Michigan, the weather can change in 20 minutes coming off the Great Lakes, but it was already drizzling and raining. Had been all day and the night before, or morning and the night before. So I wasn't going to take my. At the time, I had a Nikon. I still have that Nikon. At the time, I had a Nikon, and I wasn't taking that to flying an ultralight in the rain. I had no idea where we were going, and I never thought to take a picture. Probably one of the few things I don't have a picture of, but I have the memory. And Paul, probably long dead. At at the time in 1988, I was 33, and Paul was 45, which would have made him 12 years older than me now. So he'd be 77. He might be alive, but Paul was he was an adventurous man. That guy would fly and fly. He used to fly into Oshkosh. He'd fly. We'd puddle jump into a pond. When I bought property up there, we'd puddle jump into a small lake, just clearing the tree lines like you see in the movie, but for real. He was a good pilot, but he was a crazy dude. I don't know that he was an avid flyer. He had the Buccaneer 2, and then another friend of his had the Pterodactyl and another aircraft I forgot, and that was pretty cool. So I think the 70s were my favorite years. Thanks for the memories, everybody, and thanks for stopping by. And for those of you who have enjoyed my show, all I could ask is to give it a thumbs up. I don't reminisce like that. I went into a solid reminiscing mode. It felt quite nice, actually. Thank you for that. I wouldn't do that. You don't think of the stuff you did when you were like 20 years ago. Some people do. Some people will get drunk and mumble about shit they used to do. Well, I don't drink and I don't mumble. So it was fun. It was fun. And then I do have enough videos and pictures of the barge, and like I said, Traverse, all the trip from Traverse all the way down the Intercoast, all the way down the Erie Barge Canal through Lake St. Clair, the Detroit Strait, St. Clair, Lake St. Clair, Port Austin, crossing the tip of the thumb. It was a lot of fun. I think. Keep being you, mate. All right, Owsy Mick, thank you very much. God day to everybody from Michael Fazio, and let's give Owsy Mate, Dennis Adams, Scott Del Fuego, Matthew Meister, and everybody else. Let's Digger, do your thing, Digger. Do my thing. I'll be digging. Come on out of the hole, Digger. Get up out of the hole. Do your thing. Bang the pot, Digger. Salamat, bang a pot. Oh, I had a good day. Thank you for letting me say what I said. Simulacron, you're so right. Scott Del Fuego is the wordsmith that you want to beat. Simulacron, Simulacron, you got a way to go. Simulacron's comment did show. Positive in the positive, always in the positive, baby. In the negative. Negativity is not a good thing. Negativity brings bad karma. Always in the negative, always bad things happening. Bad karma, if it existed, is probably due to a negative thought process where you actually, the universe kind of translates into magnetism in some philosophies where what you put out, you get back. So you could be a loving, caring person, get kicked in the ass every time. You got to know when to stop being the kindest person in the world. But when you do hate loads like that guy Passport TV, that guy is putting up one hate load after the other, after the other, after the other. He is drawing bad karma to him and maybe his loved ones. He is one of the most hateful bloggers on YouTube. That's bad karma. Now, I have to tell you, I have not gone to his channel after I saw some of the hateful videos he put up. Oh my God. This guy, I'm telling you, if I don't like his videos, can you imagine somebody with a little thin skin, how they get? Plus, until he pays in full, 4 salamis, 4 5-pound blocks of salami, 4 5-pound blocks of cheese, $440 now, and the thing with the ball bearings that swivels this way and that way, until he pays in full, I'm not going to look at another video on his channel, and I'm going to tell everybody, do not go to Passport TV's channel. He makes negative, heartless uploads. The man, I don't think he breaks the boundaries of criminal, but I've heard him call the criminal. I don't think he breaks that boundary. I'm not sure. It's hard to tell. There are people that do a lot worse that say they're not criminals. So Passport may or may not be a criminal. And based on the people who do a lot worse and then say they're not criminals, kind of makes Passport into a saint, but a saint that does some evil shit on YouTube. I'm not backtracking. I'm just trying to keep track of what Passport is. Jealousy, the green-eyed monster, is a disease, says Aussie Mick. Negativity are for people that have never done. That's right. That's right. Negativity are for people that, but more than that, Aussie Mick, serious. Digger, I'm going to put you down. Put you down. Digger will dig later. Digger. So, what the big problem with some of the people on YouTube is, some people are young trolls. I don't know. Troll is a troll. I don't know who they are. Then you get real assholes that are 40 and 50 years old, that they really feel they need to come on YouTube and say something stupid. And how does that benefit them? Gets them blocked on my channel, so they get 1 or 2 shots at that, and then I block them. I'm not going to have somebody interfere with my thought process. When I owned construction companies with multiple people working for me and had 8 or 10 men that not only did I supervise, but I cut the wood for most of those men, and then tell them to route it and put it in place so there would be no mistakes with the cutting process. Not only did I have to keep track of 8 or 10 men and what they were doing, but I had to get inundated from different sides with different questions, sometimes once, 2, 3, 4, 5 times an hour, and break my concentration for what I was doing. But I didn't allow people to bullshit around on the job. I would say, no, you do that after work. We'll do it together after work, but not on the job. So, but kidding around is one thing, but to destroy somebody else's live stream with your bullshit, that's not acceptable. So when people have never accomplished anything, I think these are the biggest trolls in life. A man looks at me and says, look, he lives in a shack. He could never have been successful. I'm not successful now. I'm just not successful in your mind's eye. How do you know when the hotel is built? Are you going to say, I made a mistake, I apologize to Mr. Fazio? I don't even want that. I don't even want to see you. I don't care about you. You are like, if you've been bothering me for years, it's best that we don't meet. Because what do we have to talk about? Nothing. But basically, I was talking about trolls, unaccomplished men, people that have nothing to be proud of. No solid memories of something great that they did. Bringing the barge from Traverse City, Michigan to Howard Beach, Queens, New York by myself, traveling 1,700 miles through 33 locks and bridges, through 4 different lakes and across Lake Erie by myself. Ported in Ohio, I ported in Pennsylvania, I ported in all of the states on the East Coast. No, I'm not sure. I think Pennsylvania borders the Erie Barge Canal for a few thousand feet. But I saw the great lawns in upstate New York, and the lawns are talking about 10-acre lawns. And then the estate that goes up a rolling hill from the barge, it sees over the banks, over the banks of the Erie Barge Canal. So the banks might be 10 feet higher than the water, but my cabin of my pilot house was set me 18 or 19 feet above the water. And you could see these rolling hills. It looked like a golf course, and then there'd be a house at the end of the golf course. I was like one of the most amazing sights. I think I have pictures of it, but I'm not sure. But upstate on the Erie Barge Canal, someplace after Tonawanda, New York, there are houses on the left side for sure. I remember seeing a lot of them with yards that are 600, 700, 800 feet deep of grass, 350, 400 feet wide. I mean, that's old money. That was pretty cool. So the people that are jealous are men, men and or women that have never done some of the things that they wanted to do, and now they're burdened down with a house or a family or children or pets, which a pet will slow you down. A pet does not open its own dog food. A pet does not go to the store. A pet does not open the door and close the door behind it. A pet is an anchor for as long as you have the pet. So they've done things that are beneficial to them at the time, but they've missed out on some of life's greater opportunities. I chose to go for the gold ring. So even though I'm in this little shed, I'm a very happy man. I'm not unhappy. I don't ever wake up unhappy. I never go to sleep unhappy. I like being who I am. I've done enough to feel accomplished. When I go swimming and everybody says hello on the beach, when I take the men's tools away from them on the beach and bring them home and sharpen the tools, and when I bring them back, they say salamat, and then a few days later, somebody will stop and give me a ride on a tricycle for free, and I won't take the ride for free. I'll still pay them the tricycle money. But I mean, where I live is a great place. My neighbors are great people. I enjoyed my life, and now I'm taking a respite. Not actually. I always keep busy on the property. So jealous is a disease, which we were talking about. It's for their validation. They need to feel they are important. I am the same. I am a production manager. Okay, so there you go. You are on a production manager line. Every day, the requirements of the line might change. Computer graphics, whatever it is, the computer input. And then you have people that don't know how to do this or that, or the machine. You're being pulled from like 5 or 6 different directions. It's why a lot of people drink alcohol. I never drank alcohol, but it's why a lot of people go home and have a few drinks to wind down. Now, me, I had a boat in the back of the house. I had a beautiful apartment on the water. If it was warm, I could go swimming. If it was cold, I went to California or Florida. So thanks for watching. Spot fires. I don't know what that means. Spot fires. Thank you. I'm going to go. It's now 2 hours and 25 minutes, plus my live stream this morning, plus my other live stream before this. I feel like I could do 2 or 3 more live streams today, and maybe I will. I have a bunch of stuff in my notes that I never even got to. So when Digger's going to say goodbye, Digger. Digger says goodbye. What do you want to do this afternoon, Digger? Bury me, Michael Fazio. I feel like digging. Digger. Sung to the tune of Batman. I'm being Permy from Michael Fazio. Look, see this? Oh, I forgot to show you this one thing. Look, see this? Look. See this rope I have? It's a twine. I have it on Mr. Obama because I took Mr. Obama scuba diving on my 65th birthday, and I made him body surf the waves behind the boat. He likes that, right, Mr. Obama? Oh, yeah! I love being dragged through the ocean. Did you like when I put you in the fire coral on the bottom? Oh, yeah! It felt good. You like fire coral on the Tootskies? Oh, yeah! Oh, yeah! I like going diving on your birthday. And what about when we went to Palawan? Oh, yeah! You know, Mr. Obama, I was going to put you inside that giant clam, but I didn't have you at the time with me on that dive. Oh, yeah, I would have liked that a little bit. Not so much. In a clam, no. I'd rather have clams for dinner. It gives you good stamina. Oh, Mr. Obama, you think clams? Oh, yeah. It's a well-known thing in the African-American community. Clams, it gives you stamina. All right, well, if I put you in a clam. No, I know what you want to do. You want to put me in the clam, not on the clam, no, I don't want to go scuba diving with you anymore. The Trichodactylus clam, the Trichodactylus, that's not the giant clam. No, you remember that? Yeah, I remember now that you remind me. So, what are you going to have for dinner, Mr. Bob? I'm going to have clam chowder. I'm not going in the clam. I'm going to put the clam in me. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Real men play with dolls. I'm Bing Permy from Rabbi Jew Barker in the Philippines, baby. More fun than you should be allowed to have. Louis Pagan Ponce. Yes, I am, Louis. I am saying goodbye. Oh, you're putting out spot fires all. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Their problems are your emergency, right? Yeah, I got to go, Louis. I got something that I want to do and somebody I want to talk to in a little bit. Say goodbye, Digger. Goodbye, everybody. I'm going to take Digger digging in the backyard. Mr. Obama, you want to go digging with? No! Last time you buried me, I had to dig my way out. Yeah, I forgot. I buried Mr. Obama. I left him there overnight. He was pissed off about that. Better to be pissed off than pissed on is what they say. Bye-bye for now. On 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm being Permy, which means take care always in Visaya. I'm pushing the button. Yeah, baby. Done.